From WXII 12 News, this is breaking news.
Breaking news first at noon. The North Carolina Senate is set to approve a bill that will cut the time a woman has access to get a legal abortion almost in half. The Senate just took a recess and is scheduled to reconvene at 1 p.m. Senate Bill 20 bans most abortions after 12 weeks. Right now, it's legal up to 20 weeks. There are exceptions for cases of rape and incest, and that's allowed through 20 weeks. And for fetal abnormalities, a woman can abort a pregnancy through 24 weeks. The bill also includes money for adoption and fostering services, as well as contraception. Governor Roy Cooper has vowed to veto this measure, calling it a, quote, extreme ban. However, North Carolina Republicans hold veto-proof majorities in both chambers, so the bill is expected to become law. Those who oppose this ban are speaking out. Rallies taking place all across the state yesterday, including one in Greensboro. That was organized by the Greensboro Clinic Defense. One protester we spoke with says with abortion banned or heavily restricted in many other states in the Southeast, she fears the impacts will stretch far beyond North Carolina.
This isn't going to just impact North Carolinians, it's going to impact everybody to the south of us. We're seeing lots of patients come from out of state already. And honestly, my biggest concern is what's going to happen to our Black maternal mortality rate.
This is healthcare. And if you will legislate against an abortion, you'll legislate against any healthcare, any form of healthcare, and that is dangerous.
Those who rallied yesterday say even if the bill becomes law, they will continue working to ensure access to abortion. Some doctors are also sharing their opposition to this bill. The North Carolina Medical Society released a statement yesterday saying the bill interferes with patient-doctor relationships. It goes on to read in part, quote, in addition to limiting access to safe clinical care, this measure will also create new causes of action against those who are striving to provide their patients with medical care that is in the best interest of the patient. And Republican lawmakers disagree. They argue the measure is pro-family and pro-child, citing the funding included in the bill for things like child care, foster care, and contraceptives.
The bill that has been developed is a common sense, reasonable approach to restricting second and third trimester abortions and addressing maternal and infant care.
I stand in support of SB 20. This bill is a significant compromise in the pro-life community, but it is an excellent step in the right direction to protect the life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness for the mother and the baby.
We saw it as an opportunity to put forth legislation that's pro-life and pro-woman. Most women say when you ask them, they would prefer to keep their babies if their situation were different.
Republicans used a procedural move to fast-track that bill. Passing it quickly lets Republicans avoid days of protests at the legislature. And we are going to continue to follow this developing story with more coverage tonight on our evening newscast. And just a reminder, when we are off the air, you can always find the latest coverage on our website, WXII12.com. And there you can also find a link to read the bill in full. All right, focusing on this nice weather, a live look from Winston-Salem, where we have blue, sunny skies today. And we're not quite at 60 yet, Jacqueline.
We've got some nice temperatures out there. The winds are starting to calm down as we're looking outside too and feeling that breeze that was so high for the past few days.
Yeah, so very windy the past few days.
That's a big improvement. We're at 59 degrees right now in Mount Airy, 62 in Winston-Salem, 60 in Greensboro at this point. Our wind speeds are in the 5 to 10 mile per hour range for the most part. We do have some occasional breezes close to 15 miles per hour, but overall we're very comfortable as far as the wind is concerned after some very, very gusty days. Here's a look at our 12-hour forecast. We'll continue to see winds up to 15 miles per hour as we're headed through the next couple of hours. Temperatures getting into the upper 60s, close to 70 degrees for most of us. We've got mostly sunny and then partly cloudy skies as we head through that time frame. Looking towards the foothills, upper 60s as well, where we've got more and more clouds rolling in through the next couple of hours, but staying dry. Winds at 5 to 10 miles per hour. Looking towards the mountains, temperature is getting into the low 60s here. We still have some gusts up to 20 miles per hour in the high country today, but overall looking a lot better, and we'll get a lot of sunshine here as we head through the next few hours. Now enjoy the sunshine. We'll keep dry as we go through the day today and for much of tomorrow, but then as we head towards the weekend, we enter an unsettled weather pattern that'll bring us some showers and storms through the weekend and into next week. Enjoy the sunshine while it's here. We'll talk more about that coming up.
And a hospital is in custody this afternoon. Authorities found the suspected gunman roughly 8 hours after he first opened fire. Morgan Chesky has the latest.
An Atlanta gunman no longer on the run. This video capturing the moment police caught up with Dion Patterson. The 24-year-old, authorities say, unleashed a deadly rampage in a hospital, launching a massive, nearly day-long manhunt.
An undercover officer was the one that originally saw and confronted this individual.
Police arresting Patterson after Wednesday's attack at Atlanta's Northside Hospital, where investigators say he pulled out a handgun and started shooting.
They're now advising the active shooter, a person shot.
The violent scene playing out in an 11th floor waiting room, where police say Patterson fired a hail of bullets, killing one victim, identified as 39-year-old Amy St. Pierre, a CDC employee. 4 other women were also injured. According to police, Patterson was with his mother for an unknown medical appointment, but she was not hurt during the shooting. The active shooter call placed the bustling area on lockdown, which impacted several schools, including one attended by Georgia Senator Raphael Warnock's children.
They're there, I'm here, hoping and praying that they are safe. But the truth is, none of us is safe.
Barely 30 minutes after opening fire, license plate recognition cameras spotted a vehicle the shooter stole 20 miles away, near Truist Park, where the Atlanta Braves play.
Those cameras proved extremely helpful today. That is where we got the precise location of the building that he walked into.
Patterson, a former member of the U.S. Coast Guard, had been discharged from active duty in January after nearly 5 years of service. Today, the motive for the shooting remains unclear. Authorities only saying they don't believe any of the victims were targeted.
This was a horrible act of gun violence. But equally horrifying is that we know that this is not unique in our country.
That was Morgan Chesky reporting. Here in North Carolina, there's now a $70,000 reward for tips leading to the capture of an escaped inmate charged in the murder of Wake County Sheriff's Deputy Ned Byrd. Aldermarin Sotelo broke out of the Piedmont Regional Jail in Virginia on Sunday. The FBI released this new photo of him taken just hours before that escape. This is an image of his getaway car, a red early 2000s Ford Mustang with a 30-day temporary tag. His sister, Adriana, was arrested in High Point. She is accused of organizing and paying to get the Mustang in place for her brother to use. Aldermarin Sotelo is believed to be extremely dangerous. If you do see him, don't approach him and immediately call 911. Winston-Salem police are now trying to figure out who fired shots on the campus of Forsyth Tech yesterday. Officers believe the shooting is unrelated to the school itself, and they say a suspect confronted someone at an ATM in a parking lot near the corner of Oak Grove Road and Martin Street. There was an exchange of gunfire, and then both people left. Police say the ATM was struck by bullets and several shell casings were found at the scene. There are no reported injuries. A man is now facing charges after police say he went to a business he's not allowed to be at. Boone police say a local business contacted them concerned about seeing Joshua Vordran at their location twice. The business provides activities for children, and officers say he's a registered sex offender, so it was illegal for him to be on the premises in the first place. Investigators later took him into custody and he was placed in the Wilkes County Jail. In Greensboro, police are looking for a man who robbed a convenience store at gunpoint. Officers say this happened just before 1:30 this morning at the Great Stops on West Market Street. A clerk told investigators a man wearing a mask walked in, pointed a gun, and demanded money. He ran away before police got to the scene. Well, May is National Mental Health Awareness Month, and the Biden administration is launching a new tool for those seeking care. The idea is to have one centralized place where people can get resources and help. Amy Liu is in our Washington bureau with the details.
Well, it's a website called findsupport.gov, and the government is officially launching it today. And we spoke with the Health and Human Services Secretary on how it could save lives.
Findsupport.gov is going to be a great website for those who are saying, I think I or someone I know and love is getting close to really needing some help.
One-on-one with Secretary Javier Becerra, who says the launch of findsupport.gov could be game-changing. The new website provides centralized information and resources with connections to therapists, psychiatrists, and suicide prevention, accessible now to anyone.
Especially after COVID, so many people have said to us, we're hurting. When 90% of the country says to you that America is experiencing a mental health crisis, you got to do something.
With every 3 out of 10 people in the U.S. facing issues with mental health, drugs, or alcohol, the Biden administration says findsupport.gov is a tool in ending the stigma to finding care, building on other resources like the launch of its suicide prevention hotline 988 last year.
Let you navigate this process so you know ahead of time what you need, so you don't ever have to get to the point of having to dial that emergency number 988.
The website also has information on how you can find and pay for your treatment using your insurance, as well as the signs and symptoms that you or someone you know may need help. In Washington, I'm Amy Lou.
Next, getting a book for a good cause. The sale underway right now and how your shopping is helping seniors.
From Graham to Greensboro, WXII 12 News has you covered. Keep up with your local news team across the Triad. Follow Lindsay Klein on social media.
Later today, Guilford County Schools will give an update on the future Katherine G. Johnson School. The district is looking at potential sites for the STEM-focused kindergarten through 8th grade school. And the community meeting is this evening at 5:30. It's going to be at the multi-purpose room at Colfax Elementary on West Market Street. The district wants to relieve overcrowding at other schools in the southwestern part of Guilford County. Today is the National Day of Prayer. It was established in a joint resolution by Congress back in 1952, encouraging all Americans to pray for their country. The High Point Human Relations Commission is holding 2 free programs today to observe the National Day of Prayer. Here's a video from the first event, which took place this morning at 7:15.
The idea of peace. How can we work together to bring peace, not only for each other individually, but for our community? And then how can we work together to love somebody that's not like us and work on that? And then how can we give hope?
The second event is tonight at 6. It's going to take place at the High Point Public Library Arts and Education Plaza on North Main Street. The Shepherd Center annual book sale fundraiser is now underway. This is the 36th year for this event. It kicked off this morning, and proceeds raised go to support the Shepherd Center services, which thousands of adults benefit from.
All of the proceeds of our event today go back into the programs and services that we offer. We offer transportation to medical appointments, minor home repairs, support for caregivers, and a lot of activities for active older adults with exercise classes.
More than 100,000 books are available, and the sale runs through Saturday in the Education Building at the Winston-Salem Fairgrounds. Tonight, the event runs until 9 p.m. The Town Bank Beach Music Festival returns today to downtown Greensboro. It is the first time the event has been held since the pandemic. And the TAMs will kick off the 5-concert series at First National Bank Field. Gates will open at 5:30 and the concert begins at 6. Other concerts will be held on May 18th and on June 1st, 15th, and 29th. And Jacqueline, it's feeling a lot better out there today, not so windy like we've seen the past few days.
Yeah, we had to bring a lot of our yard decor in because it was just blowing all over the place
Very
for the
strong
past couple
winds,
of days.
yeah.
Today is much calmer, so you can probably start to get some of those yard things back out, but we've got some wet weather to come. So here's a look at our headlines. Mild for the day today, and the winds are relaxing as we head into the weekend, though. Rain chances and then some summer storms next week. Summer-like storms moving into the area. Here's a look at our temperatures and radar right now, where we've got temperatures right around 60 degrees for most of us, and you'll notice that we've got some dry skies, a couple of clouds in the vicinity. That's about it for us. As we're headed through the next couple of hours, we'll see temperatures climbing into the upper 60s. Still cool for where we should be this time of year. We should be in about the mid 70s, but not too uncomfortable. Lots of clouds and sun kind of mixing together as we're going through the day today. Not a purely sunny day, but you'll still get some blue sky and sunshine throughout your Thursday. The foothills, temperatures getting into the upper 60s, partly cloudy leads to mostly sunny skies and then clear skies by 10. And as we look towards the mountains, cool but breezy at times with some occasional gusts still up to 20 miles per hour in the high country. For the rest of the day, though, we'll start to see things calm down, clearer skies throughout the rest of the day. Here's a look at our hour-by-hour forecast. As we're headed through the day today, we'll notice those clouds increasing into the day tomorrow, I should say, and that cloud increase will be ahead of some wet weather for the weekend. So here's a look. By Saturday, we start to see some of those showers moving into the picture. It's not looking as significant as it was earlier this week, so that's the good news, but we still can't entirely dry it out with those showers likely moving in from time to time throughout the day. Lots of cloud cover and staying on the cooler side of things as well. As we head into the second half of your weekend, more rain for your Sunday as well. Showers will be continuing throughout the area, and then into next week, some of those storms move into the picture. So enjoy today for that sunshine and enjoy tomorrow because we're still staying dry, because once we head towards the weekend and into next week, we'll get some pockets here and there of drier weather, but they'll be fewer and harder to come by. So you'll want to make sure that you are enjoying this clear sky while it's here. As we head into the later part of the week, continuing to see occasional showers and storms throughout the vicinity, and then even looking into our 8 to 14 day forecast. So looking even 2 weeks into the future here, we've got some wetter than normal conditions expected during this time for at least the southern portion of the Piedmont Triad, and for the northern portion we're expected to be about normal, so some rain chances moving in from time to time. We're also expecting a pretty decent warm up though, after being below normal for much of the past few days and for the next few days as well. We're expecting in our 8 to 14 day forecast to see conditions that are warmer than normal, and in fact the eastern portion of the forecast area substantially so. So some warmth is coming along with those summer thunderstorms. Here's a look at our 7-day forecast as we head through the day. So through the weekend we stay a little bit below normal. Our average high is 76 degrees right now. By Monday we've got the 80s in the forecast, but you see those afternoon thunderstorms sticking with us as we go through those days.
Here is where the foundation of modern-day racing was built. Here, it's our belief that racing isn't just a privilege, it's an expectation. But then, silence. abandoned, forgotten. We were left with only the hope that one day tomorrow's trailblazers would remember yesterday's pioneers. And now, a new era is upon us, resurrected from racing lore, and we are ready once again to show the world who we are. Back on track, racing returns to North Wilkesboro, a one-hour extraordinary event, Monday, May 15th on WXII 12, and special coverage all month on WXII 12 News.
Well, Star Wars fans, get excited. The Force will be making its way to the Triad this weekend thanks to the Winston-Salem Symphony. There are 2 special concerts dedicated to the classic films. This weekend's guest conductor joined us this morning on the Local Vibe with a preview.
As a classical musician and as a conductor, you know, John Williams is one of these preeminent composer icons, and even though he has written so much for film, he's one of these composers that makes the orchestra sound most like itself. And this music really transcends the movies into the concert hall, and when you're in the concert hall, you'll almost be able to visualize the movies as they happen when you hear these great themes. So, you know, as a performer, it's always a joy to bring John Williams to life, and it's just exciting because we've all lived and some of us have grown up with this music swirling around us since we were children, and to be able to dive back into that is a very, very special treat.
So bring Saturday to life for us, Christopher. Tell us about some of the special guests and what people can expect.
Well, the most exciting part of it is the music, is the fact that from the main title to the Cantina Band, from the Ewoks to the asteroid field, from the Death Star to Rogue One and even Solo, we have the music that connects the entire Skywalker saga, and it's really exciting to be able to travel between all of these different themes, remembering Carrie Fisher with Princess Leia's theme, and just bring the characters and the story back to life. And in addition to that, we are so honored and fortunate and excited to welcome the 501st Rebel Legion, these incredible connoisseurs of Star Wars costumes and paraphernalia will be out in the crowd. You'll be able to take pictures with them, you know, maybe even your own R2-D2 unit photo. And that really makes it feel like you've entered into a galaxy far, far away, visually and aurally.
There are 2 chances to hear the music of Star Wars this weekend. Both shows will be held at the R.J. Reynolds Theater on North Hawthorne Road in Winston-Salem. And to purchase tickets, head to winstonsalemsymphony.org. We also invite you to watch The Local Vibe for more community segments like this one you just saw. We're on every weekday morning at 9 a.m. over on the Triad CW.
The Federal Reserve raised interest rates for the 10th time in just over a year, but there may be an end to the hikes in sight. I'm Bree Jackson in Washington. While there are still concerns about the future of the U.S. economy.
I would say time is survival and time is quality of life.
A new technology to give patients that time. We take a look at the new tool researchers are using to give hope to those battling brain cancer.
You're watching WXII 12 News.
And thanks for staying with us. I'm Lindsay Klein alongside meteorologist Jacqueline Shearer. Jacqueline, it's really beautiful outside today, and the good news is that wind that we've been seeing over the past few days has really died down, or is dying down quite a bit.
Gosh, it's been so noisy too. It's been just roaring outside my window, and I know a lot of people can relate. So today, finally, things are calming down. We still have some strong winds here and there, but overall, we're looking at temperatures right around 60 degrees, dry skies, and mostly clear skies as well. We've got a lot of sunshine out there, some breezy conditions conditions still. We've got winds in the 5 to 15 mile per hour range throughout the day today in the Triad and the foothills. Occasionally in the mountains, we'll see winds up to 20 miles per hour. Of course, that's a big improvement from where we were, but I'm still seeing some of that light breeze out there. As we head through our 12-hour forecast, we get to the upper 60s. Enjoy it. I know it's cooler than normal and cooler than you'd expect for the beginning part of May, but we are going to be seeing some big changes in the forecast soon. So enjoy the sunshine while we have it. Enjoy the dry skies today and tomorrow. Here's a look at the foothills. Temperatures getting into the upper 60s. It's mild where we've got some of that sunshine here and there as well. And in the mountains, still somewhat breezy with winds up to 20 miles per hour, but not all that bad. And temperatures getting into the low 60s as we head into the afternoon. Tomorrow, cloud cover increases. And then this weekend, we've got some rain picking up throughout the area that'll last into next week. We do have a warm up on the way, but some messy weather between now and then. We'll take a closer look at your weekend forecast and into next week coming up.
All right, thank you, Jacqueline. We continue to follow breaking news out of the state capitol today, where the Carolina Senate is set to approve a bill that will cut the time a woman has access to get a legal abortion almost in half. The Senate is on recess right now, but it's scheduled to reconvene at 1 o'clock. Senate Bill 20 bans most abortions after 12 weeks, and right now it's legal up to 20 weeks. There are some exceptions for cases of rape and incest. That's allowed through 20 weeks. And for fetal abnormalities, a woman can abort a pregnancy through 24 weeks. The bill also includes money for adoption and fostering services, as well as contraception. Governor Roy Cooper has said he will veto the bill, but Republican lawmakers can override his veto. Interest rates are on the rise once again. Yesterday, the Federal Reserve announced another increase as part of its efforts to tame inflation. Bree Jackson is in Washington with more on the decision and the growing uncertainty of the future of the U.S. economy.
The Federal Reserve raised interest rates for the 10th time in just over a year. And this latest move comes as Congress looks to avoid an economic crisis.
Before discussing today's meeting,
the Federal Reserve hiking interest rates yet again, this time by a quarter point.
inflation pressures continue to run high, and the process of getting inflation back down to 2% has a long way to go.
This falls amid fears about the state of the U.S. economy. Higher rates have pushed credit cards and auto loans up, 3 U.S. banks failed, and even the federal government is at risk of a debt default.
No one should assume that the Fed can protect the economy from the potential, short and long-term effects of a failure to pay our bills on time.
The clock is ticking to raise the debt ceiling by June 1st.
That's a little bit in dispute right now, but I think we'll get that straightened out too politically.
President Biden meets with congressional leaders at the White House next week with hopes of hammering out a deal.
I'm glad they're agreeing to meet. I hope there's a sense of urgency, and I hope next week is a very productive meeting because there's time's a wasting.
The Senate Republicans are the ones who have refused to raise the debt ceiling. They did it 3 times. When Donald Trump was president, no muss, no fuss.
Should the government fail to raise the nation's debt limit, the U.S. economy and taxpayers could suffer. The Biden administration warns a protracted default could result in the stock market falling by 45% and 8 million jobs lost. And Fed Chair Jerome Powell says avoiding a recession is more likely than having one, but adds he's not ruling anything out. In Washington, Bree Jackson, NBC News.
The man accused of opening fire inside a medical facility in Atlanta is now in custody. Police took Dion Patterson into custody at an apartment complex not far from the Atlanta Braves baseball stadium 8 hours after that shooting. The shooting took place around noon yesterday in Midtown, and police say 5 women were shot. A 39-year-old victim died. Officers say Patterson was with his mother at a medical appointment in the building, and witnesses are sharing what they saw the moment the chaos all unfolded.
I was meeting a friend for lunch and saw Atlanta police rush into the building, and it was a very heavy and quick response.
No word yet on a possible motive, but Patterson is now charged with murder and assault. Another mass shooting yesterday, this one in Chicago. Investigators say 4 people were shot in the city's Parkway Gardens neighborhood. One of the victims is just 16 years old. We're told they are now in critical condition, and the other 3 victims were hit in the legs. Authorities say they have non-life-threatening injuries. Authorities have identified the 7 people found dead at a property in Oklahoma this week. 2 of those victims are teenage girls reported missing earlier in the week. The other victims are the suspect's wife and her 3 children. Police say the suspect, Jesse McFadden, was found with a self-inflicted gunshot wound. They believe he's responsible for all of these deaths, and though they are not sure of a possible motive, McFadden was a registered sex offender with a criminal history. Tori Bowie, a 3-time Olympic medalist and 2-time world champion for track and field, has now died. She was found dead inside her Florida home after sheriff's deputies were called to conduct a wellness check. The cause of her death is still pending, but officials say there are no signs of any foul play. She was 32 years old. Well, the Food and Drug Administration has approved the world's first vaccine to protect against RSV. This marks a pharmaceutical milestone 6 decades in the making. The drug is made by GSK. It's a single shot for adults 60 and up. While RSV is often associated with babies and young kids, it can be dangerous for seniors, especially older adults with underlying health conditions. The vaccine could be available as soon as this fall, pending a CDC recommendation. 3 other RSV vaccines for older adults are also in the final phases of testing. May is Brain Tumor Awareness Month, and according to the Brain Tumor Society, there are nearly 1 million people in the U.S. living with a brain tumor. Nearly 30% of those are cancerous. For the most common form of brain cancer, glioblastoma, the average survival is just 8 months. But there's new hope. Researchers are looking to harness artificial intelligence to get patients a diagnosis quicker, meaning they could start treatment way earlier. Dr. Akshay Siegel has the story.
At 56 years old, George Kalasa was living the American dream. A successful career in marketing, a happy marriage, and a sweet black lab named Charlie. But 1 year ago, his life changed forever.
You woke up one morning and you had lost the feeling in the left side of your body.
What was that like? Scary, because I did not understand what was going on.
They rushed to the hospital, and after a few tests,
we had learned that there were 3 tumors. There was 1 large tumor in the back that was about the size of a grapefruit, and there were 2 other smaller tumors. Those were not able to be operated on.
His brain surgeon, NYU Langone Health's Dr. Dan Oringer, told George that he likely had glioblastoma, the most deadly form of brain cancer. The average survival, just 8 months.
This really sucks. I don't want this.
It took 4 long weeks before George could start treatment, as doctors waited for the tumor's genetic tests to come back.
I think I just cried every day for a week straight. One of the statistics that I found right away was a glioblastoma tumor can double in size in just 14 days. Time was not in our favor.
Frustrated, after watching other patients go through the same thing, Oringer has been working on a solution.
It really is hard for clinicians and patients, I think, to wrap their heads around that waiting period.
But now, using groundbreaking artificial intelligence, Oringer invented a device called Deep Glioma that can predict the genetics of a tumor in less than 3 minutes, a process that can take up to 6 weeks. One recent study found that Deep Glioma was 93% accurate compared to the usual method.
We're here at NYU Langone Health, where we're about to head into a real-life brain surgery to see how they're using AI to help get patients a diagnosis faster.
So the plan for this operation is to take a small portion of this abnormality, image that, and use the artificial intelligence to predict the genetics. Microcyst?
I don't think I've ever seen human brain before like that.
It's magnificent. The texture of this feels pretty abnormal too, which is a bit suspicious that there's some tumor there.
That is the brain tissue that just came out. Yep. Inserted into the imager.
Now we're going to run Deep Glioma to forecast the mutations that underlie the tumor that we're looking at. This is a genetic forecast that the AI has created that gives us a strong indication that what we're looking at here is genetically similar to glioblastoma.
Dr. Schnuderl, you're a pathologist here. How big of a deal is this?
It's an incredible advancement. We can have a molecular diagnosis in 3 minutes instead of 3 weeks.
Further research is needed, but the hope is that this technology could help patients like George start treatment earlier, before the tumor has a chance to grow bigger.
I would say time is survival and time is quality of life.
But for George, living with cancer, every moment precious.
This disease is tough, but on the other hand,
your spirit is still there.
My spirit's here, and I'm going to be okay. No matter what happens, I'm going to be okay.
And that was Dr. Akshay Siegel reporting. A local nonprofit based out of Yadkinville is raising awareness for sickle cell anemia. Bo Gilliam started the nonprofit Saddle Up for Sickle Cell because the gene runs in his family. The CDC says 1 in 13 Black or African Americans are born with the sickle cell trait. Many may not even know they have it.
It caused a lot of pain for a lot of people. People get muscle aches. It can be fatal in some cases. So yeah, it's a real serious situation. You know, we kind of getting the word out to people. People are catching on, and we're making a difference.
There will be a fundraiser to raise awareness this Saturday, and there's going to be live music, speakers, and food. You can find the details and tickets on this story on our website at WXII12.com. A royal preparation, how London's getting ready ahead of King Charles's coronation, plus how opinions of the royal family have shifted since the last event.
From Dobson to Danbury, WXII 12 News has you covered. Keep up with your local weather team across the Triad. Follow Jacqueline Shearer on social media.
New York has become the first state to ban natural gas and other fossil fuels in most new buildings. The state's governor and state lawmakers approved the provision as part of the new state budget. The law requires all electric heating and cooking in new buildings shorter than 7 stories by 2026. For taller buildings, the deadline's 2029. There are exceptions for large commercial and industrial buildings like stores, hospitals, and restaurants. SpaceX launched another big patch of its Starlink internet satellites this morning. The Falcon 9 rocket lifted off from the Cape Canaveral Space Force Station just after 3:30. This is SpaceX's 4th launch in less than a week. The mission will add 56 more Starlink internet satellites to the company's global broadband constellation. SpaceX currently has more than 3,900 functioning satellites in space. Excitement is now building in London. The city is working on final preps for a celebration unlike anything seen there in more than 70 years. Festivals, parades, and massive concerts all centered around this weekend's coronation of King Charles III. Jay Gray has a preview of the historic weekend and a look at the king's life leading up to the throne.
Born in a gilded ballroom at Buckingham Palace, he became heir to the throne before his 4th birthday. But the destiny of young Prince Charles would have to wait longer than any monarch in the history of the British royal family. His 7 decades preparing for the crown, framed by privilege, controversy, and family crisis.
Of course, unfortunate that he had those difficult times with his marriages and some of the other issues. I mean, but we live in a very tricky era.
An era in which the new king will face what seem to be shifting opinions about his rule. While a YouGov opinion poll shows overall 58% of adults in the United Kingdom support the monarchy, only 32% of 18 to 24-year-olds believe their reign should continue. And perhaps the most revealing data, 78% of that younger group say they're, quote, not interested in the royal family.
Relevance is absolutely crucial to the monarchy. The big threat to the future of the House of Windsor is not mobs storming the gate. It's not revolution. It's becoming irrelevant.
Now, in just 2 days, draped in the vestments and trappings of nearly 1,000 years of British history and tradition, the coronation of King Charles brings with it growing concern and uncertainty about the royal family's future. Jay Gray, NBC News, London.
Tomorrow on Today, you can catch Savannah Guthrie live from Buckingham Palace ahead of the big celebration. And you can watch live coverage of the coronation from NBC News right here on WXII Saturday morning. We're going to have our morning news starting at 8 a.m. over on the Triad CW. We now know this year's Rock and Roll Hall of Fame inductees, and the artists in the class are Rage Against the Machine, Kate Bush, Sheryl Crow, Willie Nelson, Missy Elliott, George Michael, and R&B vocal group The Spinners. As you can probably tell from the list, artists don't have to perform a rock to be admitted to the Hall of Fame. They only have to impact and influence that genre. The induction ceremony will be held in November. The Central Carolina Festival is heading into its final week at the Greensboro Coliseum Complex. It reopens at 5 tonight. This is Dollar Day, meaning admission rides and food are all just $1. Parking's also free tonight, and the festival features thrill rides, performances by Roaring Metal Rage, and a BMX stunt show. And Jacqueline, it'd be a nice evening to head out there. I mean, we've had sunny skies so far all day and the breeze has calmed a bit.
Yeah, things are looking pretty good this evening, and enjoy it because we do have some changes in the forecast, so with some rain moving our way soon. But for today, we've got a mild day with relaxing winds, and then as we head into the weekend, some rain chances with some summer storms possible as we head into next week. Also some more summer-like temperatures, which will be refreshing because we've been below normal for so long. Definitely does not feel like the start of May as temperatures only make it to the upper 60s today. We should be in about the mid 70s, so it is cooler than normal. As we're looking towards the foothills, temperatures in the mid to upper 60s. You're probably feeling that difference more in the mornings than anything else, especially if you're a gardener, because it's been too cold for a lot of the plants to go outside. It's a little bit late for us to be feeling that way. The breezes, though, are much better today than they have been. Winds gusting up to 20 miles per hour in the high country. That's about what we've got to expect as we go through this time frame here. No wind alerts in effect at this point. As we're looking through the next couple of days, we will see these winds that we've been dealing with calming down throughout our forecast area too. So overall, things are looking a lot better as we head into the next couple of days. Now, the rain will be the concern as we're headed into your day for your Friday, starting to see that cloud cover rolling in, and then as we head into the weekend, more rain pushes on in. So here's a look. Our scattered shower chances start to pick up throughout your Saturday and into Sunday as well. Saturday's looking a little bit drier than it had been earlier this week, so we might be able to salvage some of those outdoor plans. That's the good news for you with some of those scattered showers moving through. But then Sunday actually looking like a more challenging day with more rain moving in and maybe even the occasional rumble of thunder. As we head into the early part of next week, we continue to see some scattered showers and occasional thunderstorms, and that'll continue as we head through Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, but you'll also start to notice some warmer temperatures during that time, which is why we're saying it kind of feels more like that summertime storm. As we're headed through that time frame, though, continuing to see those those rain chances on and off. Looking to our 8 to 14-day forecast, which of course takes us just beyond the 7-day here, we're looking at wetter than normal conditions, especially for the southern portion of the Piedmont Triad and the foothills, as well as the mountains. So starting to see that wetness continue throughout the area as we're going through that time frame. We'll also expect temperatures to be warmer than normal, and in the eastern portion of our forecast area could be substantially warmer than normal, with temperatures in the 80s and even higher, the mid 80s possibly as we go through this time frame, May 11th to May 17th. So getting an early taste of something that feels a little bit like early summer perhaps for some of us after being on the cooler side for the past few days. So here's a look at the 7-day forecast. As we're going through this time frame, things aren't too bad for today and tomorrow, where we'll start to see more clouds building in for Friday, but still staying dry during this time. As we head into Saturday though, starting to see that rain picking up throughout the area, those afternoon thunderstorms with those temperatures climbing into the mid to low 80s for Monday and Tuesday, and continuing to see some scattered storms as we head into the middle part of next week.
Passing on a password. The unique ways people with Google accounts will soon be able to access their accounts. And Mother's Day is almost here. We have gift ideas to show mom that you care without breaking the bank. Airbnb is launching a budget-friendly category called Airbnb Rooms. Renting a private bedroom instead of a whole home isn't new for the platform, but the new feature wants to help make bookings more clear. The listings will directly tell you whether bedroom doors have locks and whether bathrooms are private or shared. You can also see if people besides the host will be at the home at the same time you are. Airbnb says this is just one of more than 50 features it has added to its site. Forgetting your password could soon be a thing of the past, at least for your Google accounts. The company has started rolling out passkeys. It's an alternative sign-in method for its apps and websites. Users will be able to access accounts with a fingerprint, face scan, or screen lock PIN. Google says people who want to stick to traditional passwords will still have that option. This Mother's Day is going to be historic in terms of spending. The National Retail Federation is predicting consumers will spend in record numbers this year. And if you're still looking for gift ideas for mom, a bit of planning and creativity can save you money. Jen Sullivan has 5 cost-saving tips.
Happy Mother's Day! Showering mom with love this 2023 will cost you a record-breaking amount of cash this Mother's Day. That's according to the National Retail Federation. It's predicting consumers will spend a record $35.7 billion this year, with the average person spending about $274. That's the highest amount ever recorded in the NRF survey. But experts say you don't have to overdo it.
There are lots of great ways to make mom feel loved and appreciated without breaking the bank.
Jessica Allen from LivingWellSpendingLess.com has these 5 tips to save money this year. 1. Be intentional. Pause before you make an impulsive or last-minute buy. And ask what would really make mom feel special.
Maybe you're celebrating a mom who would feel just as loved, if not more so, with a handwritten note or a framed photo of a special event.
Which brings us to tip number 2. Make a budget and stick to it. 3. Get creative. Instead of going for popular pricey gifts like jewelry, go for alternatives that speak to mom's interests and her love language.
Schedule your own photo shoot or maybe book mom a class or a course or even a private lesson in an area of her interest, like a cooking class.
Number 4. Instead of an outing, get busy cooking. That way you avoid busy restaurants and overpriced Mother's Day brunches or dinners.
Plan a lovely meal at home that you prepare, that you clean up, that you prep and shop for.
And finally, create special moments. They're often free, like a movie marathon at home with mom's favorite movies. For today's Consumer Watch, I'm Jen Sullivan.
According to the NRF survey, the top spenders are people between the ages of 35 and 44. They are expected to spend an average of nearly $400 this Mother's Day. And that's going to do it for us here at noon. I'm Lindsay Klein. Thanks so much for joining us. Have a great afternoon, and we'll see you back here at 4 o'clock.
WXII 12, the Triad's voice for 70 years.